Hey everyone, it's Tim from Flare Fabrication. I just received a package from Cloudray Laser that I'm really excited to share with you guys. We got ourselves a brand new fiber laser for the shop, and we're gonna be unboxing it in just a minute. So what we have here is Cloudray's latest release in their fiber laser line. It is the new LiteMarker Pro series, which has all of the latest hardware. This particular one here is a 60-watt JPT MOPA fiber laser. So if you know anything about fiber lasers, you know that JPT makes a really great laser source. So I'm really excited for this one. So one of the first things I wanted to mention was just how quickly this laser got here. So it shipped out on Wednesday of this week. It's now Sunday, and it actually just arrived today via FedEx. Apparently they deliver on Sunday, so it was only a few days to actually get here from their US warehouse, and it got delivered on a Sunday. So super excited to have it here that quickly. Really excited to get into it. All right, so without further ado, let's start getting this thing open and see what we got inside. All right, so I just got the lid off, and I gotta say, they got this thing packed tight in there. So underneath the wood crate, there's actually a whole cardboard crate that's also strapped shut. And within the cardboard crate, you got tons more packaging, the laser tucked in there. So yeah, this thing is really well packaged in there. Not a chance this is getting damaged in shipping. All right, I got everything pulled out of the box now. I want to commend Cloudray for doing a really good job of packaging everything. Really thick foam on every single piece. Everything's really nicely wrapped up, so definitely no chance that everything was going to get damaged during shipping. All right, so I got everything out of the box now. First, we'll take a look at all the accessories that come along with the laser. So first off, we got all the cables you need, USB, RS-232, in case you need that for whatever reason, as well as your power cable and a foot switch if you want to integrate that. So you can actually set up the laser to only operate when the foot switch is engaged if you prefer to do so. Additionally, we have a thumbstick that I assume has drivers and manuals on it, fence for the laser, a couple tools. They do give you some business cards to test on. We got some nice gloves, some that have a nice texture on them and some that are smooth. I'm not actually sure what this guy is here. I need to ask Cloudray about that. And then finally, they do also send you a pair of laser safety glasses, which is really great because you should always wear your laser safety glasses anytime you're operating the fiber laser. And then lastly, you want to take a look at all the manuals that Cloudray sends and documentation. So first off, coupon for 20 bucks off if you want to use again. Got some Cloudray stickers. Here you have your warranty card, I think just for your own records to fill out for the warranty. They do also include a really nice user guide for the laser, which is something that's pretty uncommon for lasers like this. So they have a really detailed guide on how to set up a laser, how to run it. So really impressed that they include that as well. You got your whole packing list here that includes everything that is shown here. And then also with the Pro Series laser, I know they've started including these test reports. So if you look, it has a number of different parameters that Cloudray goes through to do a quality control check on the laser before shipping it out. So I know this is something they started doing recently, and really nice that they've started including the QC report with your laser so that you know it's been fully inspected and verified before it ships out. And then going off of that as well, it appears they also have this test card that they've included with it. So you can see there's a number of different test marks with the laser here, as well as you can see there's a string of text and numbers marked at different speeds. So they sent along this test card that I assume was marked with the laser it's being shipped out, so just another way to verify the performance before shipping. And then lastly here we have pretty much the same thing, but from JPT themselves, so the ones that make the laser source. So it's the same kind of a deal. It's their whole QC report on all the parameters of the laser, all the parameters of the laser source. So you have a full QC report to verify that your laser was fully functional and meeting parameters before it was shipped out. Yeah, full plots and everything, showing output plots. I do need to read up on this and understand better the pulse width versus down power frequency. So they mentioned something here about a cutoff frequency. That's something I need to read up on. I don't know if that's specific to MOPA lasers, but not something I'm terribly familiar with myself. So again, really nice. They include all these test reports. You know everything will be in tip-top shape when you receive it. All right, so then the last accessory we have in the box is this D80 rotary from Cloudray. This is an 80mm rotary, and this is actually the same one I've had for my previous laser, and it served me really well. So I can take it out of the box here, take a look. We've got the chuck itself, as well as accessories, extra set of jaws, and chuck key come with it. And under our wrap here. So currently it has on the jaws for smaller parts, grabbing from the outside, and it also comes with another set of jaws in there for doing larger diameter parts and grabbing on the outside of it instead. It also comes pre-wired already, so it's just plug and play right into the laser. All right, so here it is, folks, the moment you've all been waiting for, the laser itself. First thing I have to say is this thing looks absolutely beautiful. I really love the red color that Cloudray decided on. They have their logos really nicely marked on the side here, and I really love the buttons they used here too. They're actually illuminated, which is really cool. Even the emergency stop is illuminated, so they did a really nice job with aesthetics. They even have a custom machine front panel on here that looks really fantastic. So this new Pro Series MOPA laser comes with a 200mm lens, and it has the shorter lift tower, so it looks like it goes up to 50 centimeters height, which is plenty sufficient for a 200 by 200 lens. This is another awesome feature I like that they added. They put on this nice little tag to the lens cap, remove before using, which is a great touch because I have seen guys who forgot their lens cap on their laser, started engraving, and they ended up burning their lens cap and charring their lens. So little touch, but I really like that they added that. Over on the side of the laser, you can see it's marked as MOPA, and if you peek in there, it's a little hard to see, but you can see that characteristic red appearance of a JPT MOPA laser source. Over on the side here, got some cautions, as well as some information about the laser over here on the side. Move around to the back, we've got our rotary ports, foot switch port, power, and then also a USB plug right there, in addition to a couple of cooling fans. Coming around to the bottom of the laser head, we have our two red guide lasers, and these are held in place by this really nice machine anodized red piece. These two guide lasers are used for figuring out your focal height. You can set it to whatever focal height you want depending on your lens, so you can consistently adjust back to the correct focal height for the lens you're using. So overall, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the build quality of everything, how everything looks. It is, pretty run-of-the-mill for a fiber laser, but Cloudray has added some really nice touches to it, like their custom machining, their logos, and I'm really a big fan of these buttons. I love the illumination on them. So overall, it looks like a really nice unit. I'm really happy with it. All right, so I've had a little bit of time to play around with the laser, and I have to say so far I'm really impressed. I want to start out by going through the process of getting the laser set up and just talking through how easy it was. So first things first, what you need to do is get the USB drive that was included with your laser and get that plugged into a computer. And on that USB drive, there is a folder here that is containing a lot of really useful documents. So it's really nice. They actually included the Number of operation manuals. So there's a manual for EasyCAD 2, instructions for rotary marking. Here is that full user guide for the laser. So this is the same one that came with the laser, but you have it electronic copy as well. And then also a guide for USB driver and software installs. Additionally, there's a RS-232 file if you are going to use RS-232 for your connection, which most people will not. Also software, so this is where we have software and calibration files, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And then lastly, videos. So they even have a library of videos here for a number of different tutorials, like how to run a lens correction, how to use rotary once again, driver installs, LiteMarker install. So just about everything you need is right here. But we'll quickly go through how to actually set up your laser then once it's first connected to your machine. And actually, one more thing I'd recommend doing before we start getting set up with the laser is to take this whole folder that is on the USB drive and move this to a local spot on your computer that you can reference back to. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in a spot that I have all my other laser software and documents. And you'll want to do that because there are some files on here which we'll need to link to, so that every time when LiteMarker opens, it refers back to those files for calibration. Alright, so getting into the laser setup now, I'm going to be doing this in LiteMarker. This machine does work with EasyCAD 2 as well, but I will say I'll highly recommend LiteMarker for anyone starting out with fiber lasers. It's extremely user-friendly software and just the right way to go in my opinion. So I'm not going to talk about how to install LiteMarker. There's other videos out there on how to do it, and frankly it's pretty easy too. So assuming you have LiteMarker installed, what you'll want to do first is head over here to Devices. And then you can do Find My Laser. LiteMarker will try to find your laser automatically. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, I'm just going to do Create manually though. So from there, we will find this JCZ fiber. Since that's the kind of controller card this laser has. Click Next. And then now it's going to ask you if you want to import an existing EasyCAD configuration file. Now in most cases you wouldn't have one because the laser's new out of the box, but LiteMarker has been so kind as to actually include these parameter files now, which was one of the things that was on that USB drive, so that makes things much easier. So we'll just go to Import EasyCAD Config, and then we'll go back to where we put our folder, and then under Software, you can see we have our list of lens sizes here. So that's another important thing to note, is that these configurations are all specific to your lens size. So this machine comes standard with a 200 by 200 millimeter lens, but if you were doing this for a different lens size, you would just pick whatever your lens size is and use that configuration file. So in this case, we're going to do the 200 by 200. Click into this folder and then go to this plug folder. And in there are two mark config files. I'm not really sure what the 01 is for, but the 7, mark config 7 is the one that we're going to want. So we'll click that and then go ahead and click open. And you can see it pulls in all of the laser settings and parameters for our particular laser. So extremely helpful that it already has all of these stored for us, so that way we don't have to add all these manually. It saves a lot of time and a lot of the calibration time. So go ahead and click Next, and then we can name it whatever we want. Call it 60 watt fiber. And then also the axis lengths will already be entered in there, so you don't have to worry about that. Click Next and finish. Okay, so now with the laser turned on, we can go over here to our drop-down list and pick the laser that we just added, which is a 60 watt fiber in this case. And the next important step we're going to want to do is add the lens calibration file. So with that configuration file, there actually was a lens calibration added to it. However, I found that the other lens calibration files that were included on the flash drive are actually a better correction, so I would definitely recommend that you use those. So if we go up here to device settings and then go to our load correction file right here, so it's going to be the same thing. We're going to go back to that folder, software, and then we're gonna go to this top folder, the COR folder. And then same thing here, it's gonna be based upon the lens size, or in this case, the focal distance. So since we're using a 200 by 200 lens, which has a focal distance of 290 millimeters, we're just gonna pick that F290 file. Open that up, and then from there, that will automatically load in the correction parameters for this particular laser. This is something that I haven't seen done before with any previous lasers. I haven't seen another company that's actually included a correction file. Normally this is something you have to do entirely manually, and it takes quite a while, so I was really impressed that this actually comes with the laser, and it got me up and running in absolutely no time at all. Now, one thing I do think is important to note as well is that you can probably get better performance by running through the calibration yourself and going through all the steps of the calibration. If you do a really precise calibration and really take your time, you can get better results than what the standard calibration file is that comes with the laser. That being said, the standard calibration file from the tests that I've run have got me pretty good results. So for those starting out, it really is a good start, and it really jump starts you into getting good laser marks right out of the box. Now at this point, your laser should be all set up and ready to go. If you had any troubles connecting to the laser or finding it in the settings, there's probably a good chance that your drivers were not set up correctly for the laser. So if that's the case, I would definitely recommend you look up driver installation tutorials. There's a couple great tutorials out there, so I'm not going to go through it. But that's the most probable cause of connectivity issues. All right, so now I want to demonstrate doing a first engraving test with this laser. And I got in touch with Cloudray, and they actually sent me a folder filled with a few different marking files. So they actually included a number of color marking tests for the MOPA laser, which I'm really happy about because I don't have any experience with MOPA lasers, so I felt like it was going to be a really daunting task to figure out how to mark in color, but luckily they had a number of resources already ready to go for getting started with color marking. So the one I'm going to try out here is this flag file, so I'll open that up and show you what that looks like. So it's an array of different countries' flags here, and actually all the colors that is being shown here in Lightburn are gonna be the colors that are engraved on our piece of stainless steel. And so that is one important thing to note. So MOPA lasers, one of the big features with them is that they have the capability of laser engraving in color on stainless steel, as well as a couple other metals like titanium. And that's one thing that's near impossible to do on a normal Q-switched laser. But with the addition of pulse width modulation, which is found with MOPA lasers, it becomes possible to do color. So we're gonna try out this flag right here. You can see all the settings are already set up to go, so we just gotta give this a shot. All right, so over at the laser, I have a piece of stainless here that I'm gonna be doing a test marking with. It's a nice brushed stainless, so it's quite reflective, but should work well for our test. And now the first thing before we can run any kind of marking is getting the laser in focus. Now normally what you would do is a ramp test, and you'd figure out exactly what the focal distance is, and then you'd adjust these two lights accordingly so that they meet up right at your focal point. Now I actually tested out, and so we'll turn these on here. These two lights were actually already aligned in the correct focal distance for me right out of the box. So it seems like Cloudray is actually adjusting these lasers for the lens that it comes with. So it seems like they should probably already be set up, but that being said, it's not a bad idea to run a test and just verify that these two dots are set up correctly. If they're not, you can just adjust them. There's two screws, or maybe 2 or 3 screws underneath here that you can loosen, adjust these lasers so that way they converge right at your focal point. So in my case, I just got to back this guy out so that our two laser lights meet up. Okay, and now that they have converged, we know this guy is in focus and ready to go. All right, so now that I'm all ready to start marking, I'm going to go over to Lightburn and frame the design. Now with the frame on, I can get my part moved into the correct place, and we'll go ahead and press go. All right, so there we go. I mean, this machine hasn't been hooked up for more than 30 minutes and we already have colored markings, so really impressed with that. It's a little hard to see on the surface because it is so shiny, but we have full colored markings already. So I really thought that colored markings on the MOPA, you know, it was going to take a while to get dialed in, but it took no time at all. So I'm really excited, super stoked that it was that easy and results are that good already. So definitely with more fine tuning of the laser, getting the focal height dialed in and getting some of the parameters dialed in, colors can be even sharper, but out of the box, I'm really happy with that. All right, so that was the unboxing and first markings with Cloudray's new LiteMarker Pro series. This again was their MP-60 60-watt MOPA laser. You know, final thoughts, really impressed with this machine, what it was able to do, especially straight out of the box with minimal setup time, minimal calibration. Really excited to get digging into this laser. I hope you guys learned something today and enjoyed the video. Until next time, thanks for watching.